She has guests this afternoon. Who's calling? Oh, wait, 1 minute. Wait, just 1 minute. Mom. Yes, dear. Telephone.
Oh, not right now. Not with all those people here.
But Mother is the society editor of the
the
evening.
society editor. She's very important. Hello? Good afternoon, Miss Ellersby. Yes, this is Vida Simmons. We're having an afternoon tea and social for the Wednesday Forum. You might call it an entertainment tea. Yes. Well, my mother, Miss Marcella Penny Dowd, she was a pioneer cultural leader. She came here on an ox cart as a child. She founded the Wednesday Forum. How many? Oh, just one. How many? Myrtle.
75 at least. Say 100.
Oh. 75, with Miss Tewksbury as a soloist and Will the McCurdy accompanist. Yes.
Mother, please, she's almost finished with her number.
She'll do an encore.
And what if they don't give her enough applause?
Oh, I've known her for a very long time. She always does an encore. And you could say, I'm being assisted by my daughter, Miss Myrtle May Simmons. What color? What color would you say that is?
Rancho Rose, they told me.
Myrtle May Simmons, enchanting in Rancho Rose, picked up at the girdle with accents of magenta and emerald. I wish you could see her, Miss Ellersby. Yes.
Mother, please, she's almost finished. And where's the key to rest?
Everything's ready. As soon as she's done singing, we'll open the doors and begin pouring. Yes, the hallways and doorways were festooned with smilex. Yes, festooned. Yes, it has been a long time since we've entertained. Oh, I don't want the reasons in the paper. We all have our troubles. The guest list?
Mother, please.
I'll call you back later, Miss Ellersby.
Mother, Miss Chauvenet just came in.
Oh, Miss Eugene Chauvenet? Her father was a scout with Buffalo Bill.
That explains where she got that hat.
Oh. Be nice to Miss Chauvenet. She has a grandson about your age.
What difference would it make? What would Uncle Elwood?
We agreed not to talk about that this afternoon. We're just trying to get you started. We'll start with the older ladies and work our way down to the young.
Mother, men can't come to see me in the evenings. And that's when men come to see you, in the evenings. The only reason we can have this party this afternoon is because Uncle Elwood's playing pinochle at the 4th Avenue Firehouse. Thank goodness for the firehouse.
Well, the young men will just have to take you out and it won't hurt them one bit. Oh, Myrtle May. You have so much potential in you. I don't care what anyone says. There's sweetness in every young girl. And then men take that sweetness and look what they do with it. Well, we'll just have to get you to meet someone. That's all there is to it.
If I do, they say, that's Myrtle May Simmons. Her uncle is Elwood P. Dowd. Elwood P. Dowd and his pals.
Ah! You promised?
Fine. Let's lead them into the dining room then.
All right. Okay. When you lead them out and make your little welcome speech on behalf of your grandmother, don't forget to do this.
And when I do, I say a few words about my Uncle Elwood. Uncle Elwood and his pal Harvey. Damn Harvey.
That's right. Let everybody in the Wednesday Forum hear you. Oh, you promised not to say that name and you said it.
I'm sorry, Mother, but how do you know Uncle Elwood won't come and introduce Harvey to everybody?
That's so unkind of you, Myrtle May. You know that Elwood is my deepest heartache. I know that everyone thinks he's peculiar, but he is my brother. And besides, he's not coming tonight. Are you sure? Of course I'm sure.
But Mother, why can't we live like other people?
Need I remind you, Elwood does not live with us. We live with Elwood.
Elwood and Harvey. Did Grandmother know about Harvey?
I often wondered about that, but if she did, she never wrote to me about it.
Why would she have to leave her estate to Uncle Elwood of all people?
Well, she died in his arms. People are rather sentimental about things like that.
See, now you always say that. How did someone write their will out after they died?
Myrtle May, don't be so didactic. Men loathe it in a woman. It's nothing coming. Now, don't forget to do this.
I'll do my best.
Oh, Miss Tewksbury's voice is fading. Not fast enough. Lovely, Miss Tewksbury, lovely. Oh, I loved it, I loved it.
Excuse me a moment. I have to answer the phone. Make yourself comfortable, Harvey. Hello? Oh, I'm sorry. You've got the wrong number. But how are you anyway? This is Elwood P. Dowd speaking. Yes, and who am I speaking with? Miss Elsie Greenwald. Harvey, it's a Miss Elsie Greenwald on the phone. And how are you tonight, Miss Greenwald? Oh, yes, that's fine. I'd be happy to join your club. I'm a member of several clubs now. The University Club, the Country Club, and the Pinnacle Club down at the 4th Avenue Firehouse. I spend a good deal of my time there, or over at Charlie's Place, or down at Eddie's Bar. And what is your club, my dear? Harvey. I get the Ladies' Home Journal, Good Housekeeping, and the Open Road for Boys, all for 2 years for $6.25. Well, that sounds fine to me. I'll join it. How does that sound to you, Harvey? Harvey says he'll join too. Yes, 2 subscriptions. Send everything to this address. Well, I hope I get the opportunity to meet you sometime, Miss Greenwald. Harvey, she says she'd like to meet me. Well, when would you like to meet me? Well, how about right now? My sister seems to be having a few friends over, and we would consider it an honor if you would come and join us. Oh yes, my sister would be delighted. 343 Temple Drive. I hope to see you in a very few minutes, Miss Greenwald. Goodbye. Harvey, she's coming right over. Don't you think we better get freshened up? Yes, so do I.
Where did I put that guest list? Do you know, Miss Johnson?
No, I don't, Mrs. Simmons.
Go up and look up on my dresser, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Mother, Miss Chauvenet's looking for you.
Oh.
Here she is, Miss Chauvenet. Yes, Mother.
Vita Louise Simmons, I thought you were dead!
No, Aunt Ethel, I'm very much alive, thank you.
And this fully grown girl here must be your daughter. I've known you since you were a babe.
Oh, I know.
What's your name, dear?
It's Myrtle. Myrtle May, after the 2 sisters of her dead father. That's what confused you.
Where's Elwood?
Oh, he's not here. Why don't we go into the party?
Elwood's not here?
No.
Well, shame on him. That's the main reason I came. I want to see Elwood.
Oh, but there are plenty of people anxious to speak to you.
Do you realize, Pete, it's been years since I've seen Elwood?
No, where has the time gone?
But I don't understand it. I was just talking to Mr. Chauvenet only the other night. What on earth do you suppose has ever happened to Elwood Dowd? He never comes to the club dances anymore. I haven't seen him at a horse show in years. Does Elwood see anybody these days?
Oh, yes, Aunt Ethel. Elwood sees somebody. He most certainly does.
Your Uncle Elwood, child, is one of my favorite people, always has been.
I remember.
Is Elwood happy, Rita?
Oh, Elwood's very happy. You needn't worry about him. Oh, there's Mrs. Frank Cummings. Why don't we go in and talk to her?
Oh, my, she looks ghastly. Hasn't she failed, though?
If you think she looks badly, you should see her husband.
Oh, is that so? I really should have them over. She really does look frightful. I thought she was dead. What about tea, Rita?
Oh, certainly. If you'll excuse me, I will precede you.
All right. Elwood, Dowd, bless your heart.
Aunt Ethel, what a pleasure it is to come in and find a beautiful woman waiting for me.
Elwood, you haven't changed.
Oh, Aunt Ethel, let's go. We wouldn't want to miss the party.
There's punch if you don't like tea.
But I do like tea. Stop pulling at me, you two. Elwood, what night next week can you come to dinner?
Well, any night at all, Aunt Ethel. I'd be delighted.
Elwood, there's some mail that came for you. I put it up in your room.
Oh, did you, Vita? That was nice of you. Thank you. Aunt Ethel, I would like you to meet Harvey. As you can see, he's a puka. Yeah, Harvey, you've heard me speak of Mrs. Chauvenet. We always called her Aunt Ethel. Yes, she's one of my oldest and dearest friends. Oh, well, you two look lovely this evening. Come on, Harvey. We must spend some time with our friends back here. Excuse me, Aunt Ethel.
Yes?
Excuse me, you're standing in his way. Come along, Harvey. Go right on in, Harvey. I'll be right with you. Aunt Ethel?
Yes, yes.
I can see you're disturbed about Harvey. Please don't be. He stares like that at everybody. It's just his way. But I could tell that he liked you. I could tell that he liked you very much.
Some tea.
No, not right now. I really think I must be riding along.
Oh, please.
No, I'll be talking to you soon. Goodbye.
I'm sorry.
Goodbye.
Wes, Myrtle May, come back here. Where do you think you're going?
To my room! Can't go out there now. He's probably introducing Harvey to everybody. Oh, I wish I were dead.
You need to come over here and stay with me. We're going back into the party and we're bringing him up to his room.
Oh, I won't. I can't.
Myrtle! Pretend I'm fixing your corsage.
Oh, Mother.
And we're having a gay little chat. Oh, you must. All right. As soon as you catch his eye, let me know. When I call for him, he always comes. Have you caught his eye yet?
No, not yet. How do you do, Mrs. Cummings?
Have you no shame? Smile. I'm smiling and he's my brother.
Oh, Mother. People get run over by trucks every day. Why can't something like that happen to Uncle Elwood?
Oh, shame. This is not your Uncle Elwood's fault.
Ouch! Sticking me with that pen.
Keep smiling, keep looking. That must be Miss Ellis.
Oh, Mrs. Cummings is leaving. She must have heard all about Harvey.
Good afternoon, this is Rita Simmons. Should you come in what you have on? What have you on? Who is this? Oh, I don't know a Mrs. Greenswald. Who invited you? Oh, Mr. Dowd. I'm sorry, there's been some sort of mistake. Oh, well, I never.
Never what?
One of Uncle Elwood's friends just asked if she should bring a quart of gin to the Wednesday Forum.
Oh, now he's talking to Mrs. Halsey.
Is Harvey with him?
What a thing to ask. How could I tell? How could anybody tell but Uncle Elwood?
Elwood, dear, come out for a moment. Your Uncle Elwood has disgraced us for the last time. I'm going to do something I've never done before.
What did you mean before when you said it wasn't his fault? If it's not his fault, then whose fault is it?
Never you mind, I know whose fault it is. Well, go back in there and keep smiling and act as if nothing has happened.
You're no match for Uncle Elwood.
Oh, you'll see.
Mother's looking for you.
Elwood, dear, come out, please.
Yes, sister. Excuse me a moment, Harvey.
Elwood, would you stay here and have a seat for a little while till after the party? There's something very important I want to tell you.
Well, yes, sister. I happen to have a little free time right now, and you're welcome to all of it.
Oh, thank you.
Would you like Harvey to wait as well?
Oh, yes, I certainly would.
Come on, Harvey. Jane Eyre. Come on, have a seat, Harvey. Okay, so Jane Eyre, Grosset and Dunlap, Limited. Yeah. The usual acknowledgments. Chapter 1.
alive, is that right? Yes. We were born and raised there. It's old, but we love it. It's our home.
And you'd like to enter your brother here at the sanitarium for treatment. Your brother's name? Mrs. Simmons, what is your brother's name?
This has not been easy, but we need to hold our heads up and go on as we have before. That's what I tell Myrtle May, and that's what Myrtle May tells me. Myrtle May is devastated about Elwood. Elwood P. Dowd, that's it.
Elwood P. Dowd. His age?
47, on April the 27th. He's Taurus, the bull. I'm a Leo. Myrtle is on the cusp.
47.
Yes.
Is he married?
Oh no. Elwood has never been married. He's always been a good homeboy, always lived with our mother. He loved our home.
And you have him here with you today?
Oh, he's out in the cab. I gave the cab driver $1 to watch him. I didn't tell him what for. You can't tell these things to perfect strangers.
Mr. Wilson, would you step down to a taxi in the driveway and ask a Mr. Dowd if he would be kind enough to walk up to room 24, South Wing G?
Ask him?
This is his sister, Mrs. Simmons.
Ah, how do? Why, certainly. Be glad to escort him. Through the side door.
Thank you.
Now the rates here, it's printed in this pamphlet.
Oh, no, everything will be taken care of by my late mother's estate, Marcella Penny Dowd. Judge Gaffney is our attorney.
Well, now I will see if Dr. Sanderson can see you.
Dr. Sanderson? But I want to see Dr. Chumley.
Oh, Mrs. Simmons. Dr. Sanderson is the one that sees everybody. Dr. Chumley sees no one.
But Dr. Chumley is still head of this establishment, isn't he? Dr. Chumley is still a psychiatrist, isn't he?
Still a psychiatrist. Dr. Chumley is much more than that. He is a psychiatrist with a national reputation. When people have mental breakdowns, they at once think of Dr. Chumley.
Well, that's his door, isn't it? Why don't you march right in there and tell him who's here? I'm sure he'll come.
Oh, I would not dare, Mrs. Simmons. I would be discharged if I did.
Well, I don't want to be pushed onto any second fiddle.
Dr. Sanderson is no one's second fiddle. He's young, of course, and he hasn't been out of medical school for very long. But Dr. Chumley tried out 12, and he kept Dr. Sanderson. Oh, he's really wonderful. To the patients.
Very well. Why don't you go get him?
Right away.
Well, hello, Vita.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh.
Miss Simmons.
Oh! You startled me. You must be Dr. Sanderson.
Yes, please have a seat.
Thank you. I hope you don't think I'm this jumpy all the time.
Oh, of course not, no. Miss Kelly tells me that you are concerned about your brother, Dowd. Is it Elwood P. Dowd?
Yes, doctor. This hasn't been easy, doctor.
Oh, of course, this is never easy for families of patients. I understand.
Well, it's what Elwood is doing to himself. Myrtle May has a right to nice friends. She's young and has her whole life ahead of her. That's my daughter.
Your daughter. Now, when did you seem to notice when did you notice any peculiarity in your brother's actions?
Oh, by the way, after Mother died and we came here from West Des Moines, we could see that we saw that,
You can see what, Miss Simmons? Now, do not strain, Miss Simmons. Now, just let it come. I will wait for it.
Doctor, everything I say to you is confidential, isn't it?
That is understood.
Because it's a slap in the face for everything we've stood for, the way that Elwood has disgraced us in this community.
Miss Simmons, I am not a gossip. I am a psychiatrist.
Well, for one thing, he drinks.
To excess?
Well, I don't know if you call it excess when a man never lets a day go by without going into one of those cheap taverns. He hangs around with riffraff and people we don't even know. He brings home people and gives them food and money and plays cards with them. Myrtle May's just trying to get herself started. Well, if that's not excess, I don't know what is.
Now, Miss Simmons, I do not doubt your statement. I merely asked if your brother drinks.
Yes, he drinks, and I want him committed permanently. I cannot stand another day of that Harvey. Well, we have to set an extra dinner plate for Harvey at the table. When we're sitting on the sofa, we have to move over and make room for Harvey. When Elwood calls on the phone, we have to get Harvey. And this afternoon with Miss Chauvigny, well, you know, it would have been nice of our mother to have let me know that this was going on. Don't you think, Doctor? Honestly, don't you think?
Miss Simmons, I can't possibly answer this.
It would have been nice if she'd let us know.
Miss Simmons, please. Now, Miss Simmons, who is this Harvey?
He's a rabbit.
Perhaps, but just who is he? Is he some companion, someone your brother found in one of these bars, someone of whom you disapprove of?
No, Doctor. I've been trying to tell you. He's a tall, white rabbit. He's 6 foot or 6.5 foot. I should know by now. He's been around long enough.
Mrs. Simmons, now let me understand this. You say that Harvey is a big white
Doctor,
rabbit?
do I have to keep repeating myself? My brother's best friend is a rabbit. His rabbit's name is Harvey. Harvey lives in our house. They go everywhere together. They go on the theater, they buy tickets on the train, he buys tickets for both of them. Oh, you know, I told Myrtle May, if your uncle was so lonely that he had to bring something home, why couldn't it have been human? But he has me, hasn't he? He has Myrtle May, hasn't he? And, Doctor, I'm going to tell you something I've never told anyone before. Sometimes, I see that white rabbit. Well, there, I said it. And I've never even told Myrtle May.
Mrs. Simmons.
And what's more, he's every bit as big as Elwood says he is. There, I'm ashamed of it. I've said it. Don't tell anyone.
Miss Simmons, I can see that you've been under a great nervous strain lately.
Yes, so much.
The death of your mother has depressed you considerably.
Oh, nobody knows how much.
Loss of sleep.
Oh, who can sleep with those two around?
Short-tempered over trifles.
I can't keep my temper with Harvey.
Loss of appetite.
Well, who can eat at a table with a big white rabbit and Elwood? And I'm going to sell the estate, take over as executor, and Myrtle May and I will be able to socialize happily ever after. I just can't stand it anymore, Doctor. I just can't stand it.
Of course, Miss Simmons, of course. You're tired.
Oh, I'm so tired.
And you've been worrying a great deal. And now, Miss Simmons, I'm going to help you.
Oh, thank you, Doctor.
Now, if you wait right here quietly, I'll be right back.
Oh, I just have to get Elwood's things out of the taxi. I'll be right back.
Why did nobody answer the buzzer?
I didn't hear you, Doctor.
I ring and I just... Miss Simmons. Sound the gong, Wilson! That poor woman must not leave these grounds.
Name with the getaway, huh, Doc?
Her condition is serious. Now go after her.
I can't believe it.
Main gate. Henry, Dr. Sanderson. Let no one out the main gate. We're looking for a patient. I shouldn't have left her alone, but nobody answered the buzzer.
Wilson was in South, Doctor.
What do we have available, Miss Kelly?
Number 13 Upper West R is ready, Doctor.
Okay, have her sent there immediately. I will prescribe preliminary treatment. We must get her brother on the phone. Dowd, Elwood P. Dowd. Get him on the telephone, please, Miss Kelly.
But Doctor, I didn't know it was the woman that needed the treatment. She said it was for her brother.
Of course she did. That is the oldest dodge in the world, used by the most cunning types of psychopaths. She must have known that he was going to commit her. So she came in here to discredit him. Now, get him on the telephone, please, Miss Kelly.
Oh, but Doctor, I thought the woman was all right, so I had Wilson take the brother up to number 24 South Wing G. He's there now.
You had Wilson take him in? Now, no gags, Miss Kelly. You're not serious, are you?
Oh, I did, Doctor, I did. Oh, I am terribly sorry.
Oh, well, if you're sorry, that just fixes everything, now doesn't it?
Oh,
Oh, no.
I'll do it, Doctor, I'll do it. Miss Dumpy, could you unlock the door to number 24 and give Mr. Dowd back his clothes?
And have him step down to the office right away.
And ask him to step down to the office right away. There's been a terrible mistake and Dr. Sanderson would like to explain.
Explain? Apologize!
Oh, thank heavens they hadn't put him in the hydro tub yet. She'll let him out.
Beautiful. And dumb, too. It's almost too good to be true.
Doctor, I feel terrible. I didn't know. Judge Gaffney called and said that Mrs. Simmons and her brother would be out here this afternoon, and then when she came in here, you don't have to be sarcastic.
Don't I? Just stop worrying about it, Miss Kelly. We'll squirm out of it somehow.
Oh, where are you going?
I've got to talk to the chief about it. He's going to want to handle this himself.
He'll be furious. He'll die. I know he will. And then he'll terminate me.
No, Miss Kelly, the responsibility is all mine.
Oh, no. Tell him it was all my fault, Doctor.
I never say your name. Except in my sleep.
Oh, this man Dowd.
Just keep him here, Kelly. I'll be right back.
No, what shall I do? What shall I say to him? He'll be furious.
Kelly, he'll probably be fit to be tied, but he's a man, isn't he?
I guess so. His name is Mr.
Just go into your old routine, you know, the eyes, the swish, the works. Because Kelly, I'm immune, but I've seen it work on some people, some of the patients out here. Now, if he tries to leave, I don't know, Miss Kelly, just do a striptease or something.
All of them. No, you're wonderful, Dr. Sanderson. You're just about the most wonderful person I ever met in my life.
Yeah? But how about coming and giving me a lift all the same?
What?
That Simmons thing.
Did you catch her?
Slick as a whistle. She was coming along the path humming a little too. I jump out at her, I says, "Sister, there's a man who wants to see you." Shoulda heard her yell. She's wacky, all right.
Take her to number 13 Upper West R.
She's in there right now. Brought her through the drop diet kitchen. She's screaming and kicking like hell. I'll go and hold her if you'll come in and dress her.
Oh, just a second, Wilson. Dr. Sanderson told me to wait here until her brother comes down.
Make it snappy.
Oh, you're Mr. Dowd.
Elwood P.
I'm Miss Kelly.
I'm pleased to meet you. Let me give you one of my cards. If you should want to call me at this number. Don't call me at that one because that's the old.
Thank you.
And if you lose it, my dear, don't worry, I have plenty more.
Won't you please have a chair, Mr. Dowd?
Why, thank you. I'll take two.
Dr. Sanderson is very anxious to talk with you. He'll be here in a minute. Please, be seated.
After you, Miss Kelly.
Oh, no, I really can't thank you. I'm in and out all the time. But you mustn't mind me. Please, sit down.
After you.
Can I get you a magazine to look at?
Well, I'd much rather look at you, Miss Kelly, if you don't mind. You really are very lovely.
Well, thank you. Some people don't seem to think so.
Well, some people are blind. That's very often brought to my attention. And now, Miss Kelly, I would like you to meet...
Oh, Mr. Dowd.
Elwood P. Let me give you one of my cards.
I am Dr. Lyman Sanderson, Dr. Chumley's assistant out here.
Happy to know that. Good to meet you, Doctor. How are you today?
Well, that's going to depend on you, I'm afraid. If you'd have a seat, please. Have you met Miss Kelly yet?
Well, I've had that pleasure, and I would like you both to meet my good friend...
In just a moment, be glad to. Now, if you'd have a seat, please, Miss Kelly and I would like to explain to you...
after Miss Kelly.
a seat, Miss Kelly. Is that chair quite comfortable, Mr. Dowd?
Well, yes, it is. Would you like to try it?
No, thank you. It's a little hot in here, Mr. Dowd. Would you like us to open a window for you?
Mr. Dowd, Dr. Sanderson would like to know if he should open a window.
Well, that's entirely up to him. I wouldn't presume to live his life for him.
Right. Now, Mr. Dowd, I can see that you're the type of person not to be taken in by any high-flown phrases or beating around the bush.
Is that so, Doctor?
You have us at a disadvantage here. You know it, and we know it, so let's just get our cards on the table.
Well, that certainly appeals to me, Doctor.
It's the best way forward. People are people wherever you go.
Well, that most often is the case.
And being human are therefore liable to mistakes. Now, Miss Kelly and I made a mistake here this afternoon, and we'd like to explain it to you.
No, it wasn't Dr. Sanderson's fault, Mr. Dowd. It was all mine.
Human failing, as I said.
Well, yes, I find it very interesting nonetheless. You and Miss Kelly here. This afternoon, you say?
Oh, we do hope you'll understand, Mr. Dowd.
Well, yes. These things are very often the basis for a long and warm friendship.
And the responsibility is, of course, not hers, but mine.
Well, your attitude may be old-fashioned, Doctor, but I like it.
Now, if I had seen your sister first, this would have been an entirely different story.
Well, now, there you surprise me, Doctor. I think the world and all of Vita, but I suppose she had seen her day.
Now, Mr. Dowd, you must not put any blame on her. Now, she is a very sick woman. She came in here insisting that you were in need of treatment. That is perfectly ridiculous.
Well, Vita shouldn't worry about me. I get along just fine.
Exactly. But she had spoken with Miss Kelly here, and we had received a call from your family lawyer, Judge Gaffney.
Oh, yes, I know him. Know his wife, too. Nice people.
Yes, but your sister became extremely nervous and plunged right away into this heated tirade on your drinking.
Well, that'd be Vita.
Well, she became hysterical.
Well, I tell Vita not to worry about that. I'll take care of that.
Oh, exactly. I do suppose that you have a drink every now and then, but as do the rest of us.
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, I'd like to have one right now.
As a matter of fact, so would I. But your sister's reaction to your drinking was far too intense. Now, Mr. Dowd, does your sister drink?
Well, no, Doctor. I don't believe that Vita has ever taken a drink.
I'm going to surprise you, Mr. Dowd. I believe that your sister has and does, constantly.
Well, I am surprised.
But your sister's alcoholism is not going to be the basis for my diagnosis of her case. No, it is much more serious than that. It wasn't until she began talking so emotionally about this big white rabbit, Harvey, yes. I believe that she called him Harvey.
Well, Harvey is his name.
She claims that you are persecuting her with this Harvey.
Oh, I am not persecuting her with Harvey. Vita shouldn't feel that way. And now, before we go any further, Doctor, I must
Mr. Dowd, let me finish my point. Now, your sister's condition is serious, but I can help her. Her condition stems from trauma.
From what?
From trauma. It's spelled T-R-A-U-M-A. It means shock. There's nothing unusual about it. There's the birth trauma, the shock of the act of being born.
That's the one we never get over.
You have a good sense of humor, Mr. Dowd, doesn't he, Mrs. Kelly?
Oh, yes, Doctor.
May I say the same of both of you?
So, Mr. Dowd, to sum this all up, your sister's condition is serious and I can help her. She will, however, have to remain out here temporarily.
Well, I've always said Vita should have everything that she needs.
Exactly.
But I wouldn't want her to stay out here unless she liked it here and wanted to stay out here.
Of course, Mr. Dowd. Now, Miss Kelly, did Wilson get what he was after?
Yes, doctor.
And what was Mrs. Simmons' attitude, Miss Kelly?
Not unusual, doctor.
Right. Now, Mr. Dowd, if this were an ordinary delusion, something reflected off of the memory picture. In other words, if your sister had seen something that she had only seen once, that would be one thing. But it is much more serious than that. It stands to reason no one has ever seen a 6-foot-tall white rabbit.
Well, not very often, Doctor.
I do like you, Dowd.
I like you too, Doctor. And Miss Kelly here. I like her too.
Now, Mr. Dowd, to sum it all up, your sister needs to remain here temporarily. Now, under these conditions, I would commit my own grandmother.
Well, does your grandmother drink too?
No, it's just an expression. Now, Mr. Dowd, would you sign these temporary commitment papers as next of kin? It's merely a formality.
Well, you better get Vita to do that, Doctor. She does all of the signing and managing for the family. She's good at it.
We cannot disturb her now.
Well, maybe I better go speak it over with Judge Harvey.
Oh, absolutely. You can explain everything to him after, and it's tell him that I advised it. And it's not as if you can't come back and make any inquiries. We're glad to have you. In fact, I will make out a full visitor's pass for you. Now, when would you like to come back, Mr. Dowd? A Wednesday, say? Friday, say?
Well, you and Miss Kelly have been so pleasant. Why don't I come back after dinner? About an hour.
Oh, I don't know, Mr. Dowd. We're pretty busy here, but perhaps we can make it work.
Well, I'm not very hungry. I don't have to go anywhere.
All right. Well, we're glad to have you, but Miss Kelly and I have to get upstairs now. There's plenty of work to do, but I will tell you what you might like to do.
Well, what might I like to do?
Now, we don't normally do this, but just so you have it in your mind that your sister is in good hands here, why don't you have a look around the place? Now, if you go through that door and hang a right past the stairway, you'll find the occupational therapy room down the hall. And just beyond that is the conservatory, the library, and the diet kitchen.
Well, for Vita's sake, I think I better do that, Doctor.
Yeah, very well then. And Mr. Dowd, it has been a pleasure having this little conversation with you.
Well, it's been a pleasure for me too, Doctor, meeting you and Miss Kelly here.
And I must say, for a layman, you show an unusually acute perception into psychiatric problems.
Is that so? I never thought so. Nobody does, do they?
Well, a good psychiatrist isn't found under every bush.
Well, you have to look under the right bush.
Right.
And since we have had such a wonderful time here, well, why don't you both come down with me now to Charlie's and have a drink? When I enjoy people, I like to stick right with them.
I don't know, Mr. Dowd. Give us a rain check some other time. We'd be glad to.
When?
Well, it's hard to say, Mr. Dowd. Miss Kelly and I don't get off duty here until 10 o'clock at night.
Well, let us go down to Charlie's at 10 o'clock tonight.
Well, Miss Kelly.
And you, Miss Kelly?
Well, Dr. Chumley does not approve of members of staff fraternizing. But since you've been so understanding, perhaps we could manage it.
I'll come back with a cab at 10 o'clock tonight. The four of us will spend a happy evening together. I want you both to become friends with a very dear friend of mine. You said later on, so later on it will be. Goodbye now.
Now I can breathe again.
That was a close shave. He seemed like a reasonable sort of person, but that man is proud. And what he has to be proud of, I have no idea, but I played right up to that pride. You usually can get to any man if you wanted to, but I must get to the Simmons room.
Dr. Sanderson, you say that you can get to anybody if you want to. How can you do that?
Well, Miss Kelly, it takes study. Years and years of specialized training. There's just one thing I don't like about this Dowd business.
What's that?
Is having to make this date with him. Oh, he left here being as good a friend and big a booster of this sanatorium, it'd be A shame not to. I guess I should go. You don't have to. Oh no, there's no point in it, Miss Kelly. I'll show up, have a drink with him, slap him on the back, and be on my way. I've got a date tonight anyway.
Oh, yes. By all means. I didn't intend to go anyway. The idea bored me stiff. I wouldn't go if I never went anywhere ever again. I wouldn't go if my life depended on it.
What's wrong, Mrs. Kelly? Why are you getting so emotional?
He may have been a peculiar man in funny clothes, but he knew how to act. His manners were perfect.
Oh, I saw you give him that doll puss stare. I didn't miss that.
He wouldn't sit down until I sat down. He told me I was lovely and he called me dear. I'd go have a drink with him if you were going.
Oh, of course you would. And look at him. All he does is he spends his time in bars. He doesn't work. All that corny bowing and getting up every time a woman moves, he's outdated as a cast iron deer. But you would go to a bar and flirt with him and have him flatter you. You're a good girl, Miss Kelly.
Oh, no. You let me tell you something.
Dr. Sanderson, Miss Kelly.
Yes, Doctor.
Ask the gardener to prune more carefully around my prized dahlias in front of the fence down by the main road. They'll be ready for cutting next week. Now, this incident with the woman and the large white rabbits, has it been smoothed over?
Yes, Doctor. I spoke to her brother and he seemed quite reasonable.
I've known many patients out here that have seen animals, but I don't recall ever seeing one that sees an animal quite so large.
And yet, Doctor, she calls him Harvey.
Harvey? An unusual name for an animal. Harvey's a man's name. I've known several men in my day out here called Harvey, but never heard that name associated with an animal before. This case has an interesting phase, Doctor.
Yes, Doctor.
Now, I will accompany you upstairs and we will see this woman. It might be that we could use my Formula 977 on her. I will advise you as to the prescription of treatments, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Now, tell me, what is that hat and coat doing over there? Whose is it?
I don't know. Is that Dowd's, Miss Kelly?
He had his hat on, Doctor. Perhaps it belongs to a relative of one of the patients.
Give me that hat. Let me see if there's any identification in it. Hello. What's this? See?
Well, that's strange.
Must be some kind of new fad or something. Take it away. Get it out of here.
Hello, Dr. Chumley.
There you are, Wilson.
How is every little old thing?
Oh, fair. Thank you, Wilson. Fair.
Look, somebody's gonna have to help me with the Simmons thing. Order a restraining jacket or something. She's terrible! Forgot about me, didn't you? Well, I got a corset up all by myself.
Oh, we were just going up to see this patient now, Wilson.
She's in the hydro tub right now. My God, I left the water running on her!
Willie!
Yes, pet.
Remember your promise. Hello, Dr. Sanderson. Willie, you haven't forgotten about the McClures cocktail party. We promised them faithfully.
Yes, of course. Well, I've just got to nip upstairs and call in on a patient. Won't be long.
Give a quick little diagnosis, Willie. We don't want to be late to the party. I'm dying to see the inside of that house. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Mrs. Chumley. Dr. Chumley's wife.
Well, I'm happy to know that. Dowd is my name, Elwood P. Let me give you one of my cards. If you should want to call me at this one. Don't call me at that one because that's the old one.
Thank you. Is there something I can help you with?
What did you have in mind?
You seem to be looking for someone.
Yes, I seem to have gone off without Harvey.
Harvey. Is he a patient here?
Oh no, nothing like that.
Does he work here?
No. He's what you might call my best friend. He's also at Puka. He came out here with me and Vita this afternoon.
Where was he when you last saw him?
Well, he was sitting in that chair right there, with his hat and his coat up on that rack.
There doesn't seem to be any hat and coat there now. Perhaps he left.
Apparently, I don't see him anywhere.
What was that word you said? Puka.
Yes, that's it.
Is that something new?
No. From what I understand, it's something very old.
Oh, really? I never happened to hear it before.
Well, I'm not too surprised at that. I hadn't either until I met him. I do hope you get to meet him someday. I'm sure he would be very taken with you.
Really? That's very nice of you to say so, I'm sure.
Oh, not at all. If Harvey takes a liking to someone, he expresses himself quite definitely. If he's not too interested, he just sits there like an empty chair or an empty space on the floor. Harvey takes his time making his mind up about people. Choosy, you see.
That's not such a bad way to be in this day and age.
Well, Harvey's very fond of my sister Vita because Harvey's very fond of me and we're both from the same family. Now, you'd think that feeling would be mutual, wouldn't you? But Vita doesn't seem to care for Harvey. That's too bad.
I don't know, Mr. Dowd. I gave up a long time ago expecting my family to like my friends. It's useless.
Yeah, so we must keep on trying.
Well, there's no harm in trying, I suppose.
Because if Harvey said to me once, he said to me 1,000,000 times, Mr. Dowd, I would do anything for you. Mrs. Jump,
Yes?
did you know that Mrs. McElhenney's Aunt Rose is going to be coming in unexpectedly from Cleveland tonight?
Why, no, I didn't.
Well, neither does she. That puts you both in the same boat now, doesn't it?
I don't know anyone named Mrs.
Mrs. McElhenney? She's our next door neighbor, a lovely woman. Harvey told me about her Aunt Rose, and that's a very interesting little news item that you are perfectly free to pass around.
Well, I don't believe we've had the pleasure.
Would you care to come downtown with me now and let me buy you a drink?
Thank you very much. But I'm waiting for Dr. Chumley. And if he should come down and find me gone, why, he'd be liable to raise. He would be irritated.
Well, we can't have that now, can we? Some other time, maybe.
I'll tell you what I'll do, however.
Well, what will you do, however?
If your friend comes in while I'm here, I'll be glad to give him a message for you.
Would you do that? I certainly would appreciate that.
No trouble at all. I'll write it on the back of this card. What would you like me to tell him if he comes in while I'm here?
Now, tell him to meet me downtown if he has no other plans.
Meet Mr. Dowd downtown. Any particular place downtown?
Harvey knows where. He knows this town like a book.
Harvey, you know where. Harvey what?
Just Harvey.
I tell you what.
What?
Doctor and I are going right downtown to 12 in Montague. Dr. McClure is having a cocktail party.
Oh.
We're driving there in just a few minutes. We could give your friend a lift into town.
Well, a cocktail party at 12th and Montview. Would you do that? I certainly would appreciate it if you would.
No trouble at all. Dr. McClure is having this party for his sister from Wichita.
Well, I didn't know Dr. McClure had a sister in Wichita.
You know Dr. McClure.
No. Are you sure you won't come down and have a drink with me, my dear?
I really couldn't. But thank you just the same.
Well, it's been very pleasant meeting you, Mrs. Chumley. And if you see Harvey, you can't miss him. He's quite tall. About like that.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
That Simmons woman is most uncooperative, Doctor. She refuses to admit that she has a large rabbit. Insists that it's her brother. So, give her 2 of these at 9 o'clock and another one at 10 if she remains restive. Get her in the hydro tub at 8 o'clock tonight and another time together tomorrow at 7. Then we'll see if she won't cooperate with us, won't we, Doctor?
Yes, Doctor.
Right. You know where to find me if you need me. Ready, pet?
Yes, Willie. And oh, Willie, there was a man in here. A man named... Oh, let me see. He Here's his card. Dowd. Elwood P. Dowd.
Oh, that was Mrs. Simmons' brother. I gave him the full visitation privileges. He's looking around.
What, she mustn't see anybody tonight? No one at all. You can tell him that.
Yes, Doctor.
He didn't ask to see her. He was looking for someone. Some friend of his.
Who might that be, Doctor?
I don't know.
He said it was someone he came out here with this afternoon.
Was there anybody with Mr. Dowd this afternoon, Miss Kelly?
Not when I saw him,
Well,
Doctor.
he said there was. He said he last saw his friend sitting right in that chair there, his hat and coat there, and he seemed quite disappointed.
Dr. Sanderson.
I told him if he located his friend, he could give him a lift into town. He could drive in the back seat. Was that all right, Willie?
Of course. Of course.
Oh, I wrote his name down on the back of this card. His friend's name was Harvey.
Harvey.
He didn't give me his last name. He did mention something else about him, though. Oh, God. But I wasn't quite sure what that was.
Harvey?
He said his friend was very tall. Well, why are you looking like that, Willie?
Where did he go to see?
This man was a very nice, polite man.
Yes.
And he merely asked if we could give his friend a lift into town.
Miss Simmons.
And if we can't do a favor for someone,
Miss Simmons.
why are we living?
Where did he go? How long was he here?
Get me that hat. We'll get to the bottom of this.
Main gate. Henry. Henry, Dr. Sanderson. Has anybody left through the main
Judge
gate?
Daphne.
Yes, he was wearing a tan jacket. He did. He's gone.
Judge Gaffney? This is Dr. William Chumley, the psychiatrist. I'm just making a routine call as to the spelling of a name before we enter it into our records. You called up here this afternoon about committing a client of yours. How do you spell that name? That's with a W, not a U. Elwood P. Dowd. Thank you, Judge. Dr. Sanderson. I suppose that is your name, Sanderson.
Yes, Doctor.
You know that much, do you? You went to medical school. You studied the speciality of psychiatry. You graduated. You went forth. Perhaps they failed to tell you that rabbits have large pointy ears, and that hats for said rabbits would have perforations for those ears.
No. Dr. Chumley, Mr. Dowd seemed quite reasonable this afternoon when we spoke to him.
Doctor! The function of a psychiatrist is to tell the difference between those who are reasonable and those who merely act and talk reasonably. Do you know what you've done, Doctor? And don't you answer that, I will tell you. You have allowed a psychotic patient to wander off these grounds and to wander around town with a large white rabbit. You have subjected me, a psychiatrist, to the humiliation of having to call, of all people, a lawyer to find out who came here to be committed and who came here to commit.
Dr. Chumley,
No,
please.
one moment. Wilson, I need you. I am now going to have to go and do something I have not done in 15 years. I'm going to have to go and get this patient, Elwood P. Dowd, and bring him back here. And when I do bring him back here, your tenure with this institution will be terminated as of that moment. Wilson, get the car. Pet, call the McClures, tell them we can't make it. Miss Kelly, come with me. We've got to get that woman out of the tub.
Dr. Chumley.
Yes, Doctor.
I'll have to tell the cook we'll be home for dinner. She'll be furious.
Yes, ma'am?
What is a puka?
A what?
A puka.
You can search me, Mrs. Chumley.
I wonder if it'd be in this encyclopedia here. They have everything here. I wonder if it is a lodge or what it is. Oh. I don't dare stop and do this now. Dr. Chumley won't want to find me still here when he comes down. Well, he'll raise... Oh dear.
P-O-O-K-A. Puka. From old Celtic mythology, a fairy spirit in animal form. Always very large, the puka appears here and there, now and then, to this one and that one at his own caprice? A wise but mischievous creature, fond of rompots, crackpots, and how are you, Mr. Wilson? How are you, Mr. Wilson? What the encyclopedia wants to know? I'll tap you then.
That's right. The stairs at the end of the hall. They go to the 3rd floor. Go right up. I'll be there in a minute.
Well, where is she?
Where's who? Whom do you mean, Judge Gaffney? Sit down, won't you?
I mean your mother. Where's Vita Louise?
Why, Judge Gaffney, you know where she is. She went to take Uncle Elwood to the sanitarium.
I know that. Why did she call me at the club with a lot of hysteria? I couldn't even get what she was talking about. She was carrying on something fierce.
Mother carrying on? What about?
I don't know. She was hysterical.
That's strange. She took Uncle Elwood to the sanitarium. All she had to do was put him in. Did you find it? I'll be right up. They found it.
Who found what? What are you talking about?
When Mother left with Uncle Elwood this morning, I went to the real estate office to put the house up for sale, and do you know what I found there?
I'm not a quiz kid.
Well, I found a man looking for an old house just like this one to cut up into buffet apartments. He's going through it now.
Now see here, Myrtle May, this house doesn't belong to you. It belongs to your Uncle Elwood.
Ah, but now that Uncle Elwood is locked up, Mother controls the property, doesn't she?
Where's your mother? Where's Vita Louise?
Why, Judge, she went to Chumley's Rest to tell them all about Harvey and have Uncle Elwood locked up.
And why did she call me at the club when I was in the middle of a game and scream at me to meet her here for something important?
I don't know. I simply don't know. Have you got the deed to this house?
Certainly. It's in my safe. Myrtle, I feel pretty bad about this thing of locking Elwood up.
Mother and I will be able to take a long trip down to Pasadena.
I always liked that boy. He could have been anything, done anything, made himself a place in this community.
And all he did was find a big white rabbit.
He had everything. Brains, personality, friends. Men liked him, women liked him, I liked him.
You mean to tell me that once women liked Uncle Elwood? I mean in that way.
Well, not since he started running around with that rabbit, but they did once. Once that mailbox of your grandmother was full of those little blue envelopes from Elwood.
I don't believe it.
Yet there was always something different about Elwood.
Well, that I don't doubt.
He was always so calm with any sudden change of plans. I used to admire it. I should have been suspicious. Take your average man who would
look up and see that great white rabbit, he'd do something about it. But not Elwood. He took that calmly, too, and see where it got him.
You don't dream how far overboard he's gone with this rabbit.
Oh, yes, I do. He's had that rabbit in my office many the time. I'm old, but I don't miss much. What is that noise?
That's the prospective buyer on the 3rd floor.
Louise, what's wrong?
I never thought I'd see either of you again.
Grab hold of her, Judge, or she looks like she's going to faint.
Steady.
It's all right, Mother. Everything's going to be all right.
Steady,
Oh,
girl,
not so
steady.
fast.
Don't rush her, Myrtle.
Just get me to the chair where I can sit down.
Here you go. Easy, Myrtle.
Oh.
Easy.
Oh. Oh.
The gas bill.
Oh.
Oh, get us some tea, Myrtle. Would you like some tea, Vita?
I'll get you some tea, Mother. Judge, get the coat up.
I'll let Myrtle get your coat off, Vita.
Oh, just let me alone. Let me catch my breath.
Let her catch her breath, Judge.
Go. Let me get upstairs to my room where I can let go.
What happened to you, Mother?
Omar, I want you to sue them. They put me in and let Elwood out. I didn't do anything. I only told them about Elwood and Harvey.
How could this have happened to you? I don't understand.
Well, I told them about Elwood and I went out to the car. When I was going out to the taxi, this horrible man stepped out in front of me. He was a white slaver. I know it. He had a white coat on. That's how they advertise.
A man, Mother, what did he do?
So he took me upstairs and he oh.
Go on, girl. Go on, Vita Louise.
Poor Mother. Was he a young man?
Myrtle May, perhaps you should leave the room.
Now I should say not go on, Mother.
Took me upstairs and he tore my clothes off.
Oh, did you hear that, Judge? Go on, Mother.
My God, I'll sue
And then he put me in a tub of water.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
I always said that what you were showed on your face. But don't you believe it, Judge? Don't you believe it, Myrtle May? This man took a hold of me like he thought I was a woman of the streets. I fought him. When he jumped at me, I fought him. I always said if a man jumped at me, I would fight him. Didn't I say that, Myrtle May?
That's what she's always said, Judge. That's what she's always told me to do.
Well, then he hustled me into the sanatorium, and he put me in the tub of water, and he treated me like I was a
what?
Like I was a crazy person, but he did that just for spite. Oh, then the doctors came upstairs and they asked me all sorts of questions. Oh, all about sex urges and all that filthy stuff. Oh, Judge, I want you to take the authorities in there and clean that place up. You hear me? And Myrtle May, don't you ever go there.
Oh, this stinks to high heaven. By God, this stinks.
Judge, I want you to do something about it. I want you to sue them.
I will. If Chumley thinks he can run an unsavory place like this on the outskirts of town, he'll be publicly chastised. By God, I'll run him out of state.
Tell me, Judge, is that all doctors think about in an establishment like that? About sex?
I don't know.
Because if it is, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. It's all in their heads. They need to clear their heads and get some fresh air. Why, Judge, what? Gaffney, you took long walks for years, didn't you, Judge?
The thing I need to do is take some notes. You said that Dr. Chumley came up and the other doctor came up to talk to you. What was the other doctor's name?
Sanderson. Oh, but he was a liar. He had close set eyes. They're always liars. I told him something in strictest confidence and he blabbed it.
What did you tell him, Mother?
I don't want to talk about it, but just know that you can't trust anybody.
Anything you told this Dr. Sanderson, you can tell us, Vita Louise. This is your daughter and I'm your lawyer.
I know which is which. I don't want to talk about it. I want you to sue them, and I want to go up into my room, into my own bed.
Mother, this is the important thing. Where is Uncle Elwood?
Oh, I should have known that to do something about Elwood. Something always protects him, that puka.
Mother, where is Uncle Elwood? Answer me.
I don't know. They let him go. They're not interested in men at places like that. Don't be so naive, Myrtle May. What was that noise?
A fire for the house.
What?
Listen, Mother, no matter who jumped at you, we've got to find Uncle Elwood and we've got to lock him up.
I don't know where he is. If Elwood hears about this, he won't stand for it. He'll be furious. The next time, you take him there, Judge. And don't forget to sue them. And Myrtle May, as long as you live, I hope that you never, ever have a man tear your clothes off and throw you into a tub of water. Hope to be sure.
See now, Mother's gone and mopped up everything. No matter who jumped at her, Uncle Elwood's still wandering out there with that Harvey.
Thing for me to do is to take some more notes.
It's all Uncle Elwood's fault. He found out what Mother was up to and he had her locked up and then he ran.
Oh, now don't talk that way. Your uncle thinks the world and all of your mother. Why, when he was a young one, all he ever wanted to do was share what he had with her.
I won't give up. We'll get detectives. We'll find him. And besides, you better save some of that sympathy with Mother and I. You've no idea what we've had to go through. Wait until I show you what you brought home 6 months ago. We had to hide it in the garage. Just wait until I show you, Judge.
I'm going up to talk to your mother. There's more than what she's saying. I can sense
Just
that.
wait until I show you.
All right, I'll wait.
Okay, is he here?
What's this?
That crackpot with the rabbit, is he here?
No, and who may I ask are you?
Okay? Not here, Dr. Chumley. Okay. The doctor's coming in anyway. What's your name?
Chumley. Oh, well, I have something to say to him.
What's your name? Let's have it.
I'm Judge Gaffney. Where's Chumley?
The reason I asked your name is because the doctor always likes to know who he's talking to. This guy says his name is Gaffney, Doctor.
Chumley. Well.
Good afternoon, Judge Gaffney. Let's not waste any time. Has he been here?
Who? Elwood? No. But see here, Doctor.
You sure he ain't been here? He's wise now. He's hiding. It'll be an awful job to smoke him out.
It'll be difficult, but I'll find him. They're sly, they're cunning, but I always find them. Always find them. Wilson, do you have a list of places that we've been already?
Right here, Doctor.
Read it.
We've been to 17 bars, Eddie's place, Charlie's place, Bessie's Barn Dance, the 4th Avenue Firehouse, the 10th, 12th, and 9th Avenue firehouses, just to be sure, the Union Station, the grain elevator. Say, why does this guy go to a grain elevator?
Foreman's a friend of his. He has many friends, many places.
I've just come by this afternoon to see Mrs. Simmons, to see if she could tell us anywhere else we might look for him.
Dr. Chumley, Mrs. Simmons has retained me to file suit against you.
What?
For what happened to her this afternoon at the sanitarium.
A suit?
And while we're on the subject,
Ain't that pretty, Doctor? After us dragging you all around town trying to find that guy.
No, what happened at the sanitarium this afternoon was just a misunderstanding, and I fired my associate who made the mistake. And I am prepared to take on this case personally. It interests me, and my interest in a case is more than any amount of money can buy. You can ask any of them.
but this business this afternoon, Doctor.
Oh, water under the dam, Judge, water under the dam. The way I see it is, the most important thing is to get this man and to take him back to the sanitarium where he belongs.
That's right, Judge. At least that's what I think.
Let me introduce Miss Myrtle May Simmons, Mr. Dowd's niece, Mrs. Simmons' daughter.
How do you do, Dr. Chumley?
How do you do, Miss Simmons?
I am Myrtle.
Oh.
Now, May I see Mrs. Simmons now, please?
Oh, she won't be seeing anyone just yet. Perhaps you could talk some sense into her, Judge.
But see here, your mother was manhandled. She was God knows what she was. The man's approach to her was not professional, it was personal.
Wilson, this is a serious charge.
Doctor! I've been with you for 10 years! Are you gonna believe... What's your name again?
Gaffney. Judge Omar Gaffney.
Thanks. You take the word of this old blister Gaffney?
Wilson!
Me! Me and the dame who sees a rabbit!
It's not Miss Simmons who sees the rabbit, it's her brother.
That's right, it's Uncle Elwood.
If you'll come with me, Doctor.
Yes, Judge, I will. Wilson, I've got a situation here. Wait for me.
Okay, Doctor. So, your name's Myrtle May.
Yes.
If we grab your uncle, you're liable to be coming out to the sanitarium on visiting days?
I don't know about that.
Well, if you are, I'll be there.
You will? Oh.
Sure. And if you don't see me right away, don't give up. Stick around. I'll show up.
You will. Oh.
Certainly. You heard Dr. Chumley telling me to wait?
Yes?
Tell you what, while I'm waiting, I sure could use a sandwich and a cup of coffee.
Oh, well, you'll forgive me. I'll precede you to the kitchen.
Certainly. You're all right, Myrtle May.
What?
The doctor noticed it right away. You don't miss a trick.
What?
Tell you something else, Myrtle.
What?
You not only got a nice build, but kid, you got something else too.
What?
You got the screwiest uncle that ever stuck his puss inside out in that house.
Hello, Chumley's Rest? Is Dr. Chumley in? Oh, Mrs. Chumley. How are you this evening? This is Elwood P. Dowd speaking. Yes, tell me, Mrs. Chumley, were you ever able to locate Harvey? Oh, that's all right. I'll find him. I'm sorry I missed you at the McClure cocktail party tonight. The people there were all charming, and I gave out quite a few of my cards. I stayed there until you phoned and said you couldn't come because a patient had escaped. But where am I right now? Oh, well, I'm here. But I must leave right away. I must find Harvey. Well, goodbye, Mrs. Chumley. My regards to you and anyone else you happen to run into. Goodbye.
You might as well go home and wait, Doctor. I'm suing you for $50,000 and that's final.
Mrs.
Yes?
Simmons,
Yes, I'll wait.
this picture on your mantle.
That portrait is the pride of our house.
Who painted it?
Oh, some man. He came through a few years ago for a sitting. We paid him and he left. Yes. No, this is not Dexter 1567.
Well, I suppose if you've got money to pay people, you can get them to do anything.
Dr. Chumley, what did I say to you when you pulled me out of that bathtub?
You expressed yourself. I don't remember the exact words.
I said, this is a belated civility. Didn't I say that?
It was something of that sort.
Yes. Well, since you asked, I'm going to educate you. I took an art course last winter. The difference between a mechanical photograph and a fine oil painting is simply this. The photograph shows only the reality, but the painting shows the reality and the dreams behind the reality. It's our dreams that keep us going. It's what separates us from the beasts. Well, I wouldn't want to even live life if it was all about sleeping and eating and taking off our clothes. Or putting them back on again.
Don't get excited. What's the matter?
That painting is not my mother.
I'm glad to hear that.
Elwood's been here. Elwood's been here.
We better be quiet. I'll get that. Hello? Can I say who's calling? Here he is, Mrs. Simmons. It's your brother.
Give it to me.
No, don't tell him I'm here. Act casual.
Elwood. Oh, yes. Where are you? Just a moment. He wants to know if Harvey is here.
Tell him Harvey is here.
But Harvey is not here.
Tell him he is, and then he'll come over perhaps.
Yes, Elwood, Harvey is here. Where are you? He wants me to bring Harvey to the phone.
Tell him Harvey's here, but he can't come to the phone because he's in the bathtub.
A bathtub? Oh!
Yeah, so tell him he's in the bathtub, but you'll send him over when he's ready. Then we'll find out where he is.
Oh, Doctor!
Now, Mrs. Simmons, tell him now.
Yes, Elwood, Harvey is here, but he's in the bathtub. We'll send him over as soon as he's dry. What? Oh, where are you? Oh!
Did he hang up?
Yes, he said Harvey just walked in, and we better check and see in the bathtub who is in the bathtub because it must be a stranger there. But I know where he is. He's over at Charlie's place over on 12th and Main.
12th and Main. That's 2 blocks over and 1 block down, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Doctor, where are you going?
I'm going to go and get your brother and take him back to the sanitarium where he belongs.
Well, Doctor, send one of your attendants. I'm warning you.
No, if I am to help your brother.
No one can help my brother. There is no help for him. He must be picked up and locked up and left.
Do you believe that your brother is dangerous?
Dangerous?
Why?
Well, I don't have to tell you. But why would I want him permanently locked up in the sanitarium if he wasn't?
Well, in that case, I'm going to have to see him. I'm going to have to look into his eyes as he talks to the rabbit. He does talk to the rabbit, you say?
Oh, yes, they tell each other everything.
What's that?
I mean, he does talk to him, yes. But, Doctor, don't go over there. It's a mistake. I'm warning you.
No nonsense, Mrs. Simmons. I can look after myself, and I can deal with him.
Oh, you think you can. Oh, thinks he can. Myrtle May! Check who's up in the bathtub! Oh, Harvey!
Thank you. I may call later.
Thank you, Wilson.
What about the stuff in your room, Doctor? Upstairs?
It's all packed. Thank you.
Tough you getting bounced. I had you pegged for the one who'd make the grade.
Those are the breaks.
When you taking off?
When Dr. Chumley gets back,
Did you get a report back yet from the desk sergeant at the Police Accident Bureau?
Not yet. I just spoke to the downtown dispensary. They haven't seen him.
It's beginning to smell awful funny to me. 4 hours he's been gone and not a word from him. I might not see you again, Doctor. So I want to say, I wish you a lot of luck, and I'm mighty sorry you got a kick in the ass, Ray.
Thank you, Wilson. And good luck to you, too.
Look, Ellie, let me know when you hear back from the desk sergeant. If there's no sign of the doctor, I'm going out to town to look for him. He should know better than to go looking for a psychopath without me.
Wilson, I'd like to help you look for the doctor, too.
That's what will be a doctor, right after I give you the brunch.
I have no resentments against Dr. Chumley, no. He was right and I was wrong, and he's the biggest man in his field, and it is my loss not being able to work with him.
You're not so small yourself, Doctor.
Thank you, Wilson.
Don't mention it.
Dr. Sanderson.
Yes?
Well, Doctor, I'd just like to say that I wish you a lot of luck too, and I'm sorry to see you leave.
Are you sure that you can hand out such good wishes, Miss Kelly?
On second thought, I guess I can't. Forget it.
Miss Kelly, this is just a little advice. But I would be careful if I were you of the kind of company that I kept.
I beg your pardon, Doctor?
As I said, this is for free. But I saw you Saturday night dancing with that drip in the Rose Room at the Frontier Hotel.
Oh, you did? I didn't notice you.
I'm just saying, be careful of him, Kelly. He looked like a schizophrenic all the way across the floor.
You really shouldn't have given him a thought, Doctor. He was my date, not yours.
Well, that was just his mentality. The rest of them, well.
But she was beautiful, though.
Who?
That girl you were with.
I thought you didn't notice.
You bumped into us twice. How could I help it?
Not that it makes any difference to you, but that girl was a charming little lady. She had a sweet kind of disposition, and she knew how to handle herself.
Funny she couldn't rate a better date on a Saturday night.
And she had an excellent mind.
Why doesn't she use it?
Oh, I don't suppose you to be so censured with your flippant hard shell you have. I suppose you're compensating for something.
I am not. And don't you use any of your psychiatry on me.
Oh, if I could use something else, just once, just to see if you would melt under any circumstances. Oh, I doubt it.
You'll never know, Doctor.
Oh, because you interest me as a case history. That's all. I'd like to know where you get that inflated ego.
You aren't the meanest person. Inflated ego? Case history?
Oh, don't run away, Miss Kelly. Come back, let's finish it.
Leave me alone.
Oh, gladly.
Charlie's Press. Yes, Sergeant. No accident reports on him in either town or the suburbs. Listen, Sergeant. Oh, never mind. They're here now. Mr. Dowd.
Good evening, my dear. These are for you.
Oh, for me. Thank you.
They're very fresh, too. I just picked them outside.
I hope Dr. Chumley didn't see you. They're his prized dahlias. Didn't he go upstairs?
Not knowing, I cannot say, but those colors look lovely against your hair.
I've never worn burnt orange. It's such a trying color.
You would improve any color, my dear.
Thank you. Did Dr. Chumley go over to his house?
I don't know. Where's Dr. Sanderson?
In his office there, I think.
Thank you.
Dowd. There you are.
I have a cab waiting outside if you and Miss Kelly can get away now.
Oh, where is Dr. Chumley?
Why, is he coming with us? That's nice.
I don't know, Doctor.
I'm sorry I'm a few seconds late. I thought that Miss Kelly here could use some flowers. You know, after this afternoon, Doctor, the flowers really should be from you. As you grow older and pretty women pass you by, you will think back with deep gratitude on these generous girls of your youth. Shall we go now?
Mr. Dowd, the situation has changed since we spoke this afternoon, but I do urge you to have no resentments. Now, Dr. Chumley is merely a friend. He's just trying to help.
Oh, that's nice. I would like to help him too.
And if you would start by taking a cooperative attitude, that's half the battle, Mr. Dowd. Now, we all have to face reality sooner or later.
Doctor, I wrestled with reality for 40 years, and I'm happy to say that I triumphed over it. Let's go on down, Charles.
Here you are! Upstairs, buddy. We're going upstairs. Is the doctor okay?
I'm afraid there must be some mistake. I had a date here with Dr. Sanderson and Miss Kelly. We're going downtown to have a few drinks. We'd be happy to have you come with us, Mr.
Wilson.
Mr. Wilson. They've got a wonderful floor show.
Yeah? Well, wait till you see the floor show we got. Upstairs, buddy.
No, wait just a minute, Wilson. Now, Mr. Dowd, where did you say Dr. Chumley went?
As I said, he did not confide his plans in me.
You mean the doctor ain't showed up yet?
Not yet.
Where is he?
That's what we're trying to find out.
Mr. Dowd walked in here by himself.
Ah, he did, huh? Listen, you talk fast or I'm working you over.
I'd rather you didn't do that, and I'd rather you didn't even mention such a thing in front of a lovely young lady like Miss Kelly.
Mr. Dowd, Dr. Chumley went into town to pick you up. Now, that was over 4 hours ago.
My, where has the evening gone?
Listen to that! Smart, eh?
Wait just a second, Wilson. Now, Mr. Dowd, did you see Dr. Chumley tonight?
Yes, I did. He came into Charlie's about dinner time. It is a cozy spot. Let's all go down there and talk it over with a tall one.
We're going no place. Now listen, I'm asking you a question, and if you don't button up your lip and start giving me some straight answers, I'm gonna beat it out of you!
Well, what you propose is impossible.
What's that?
You propose that I button my lip and give you some straight answers. It can't be done.
Okay, just let me handle this, Wilson.
We'll handle it then, but find out where the doctor is.
Mr. Dowd, Dr. Chumley went into Charlie's, you say?
Oh, yes, he did, and I was very glad to see him.
Go on.
Well, he had asked for me, and the proprietor brought him over to sit with me, and we exchanged the conventional greetings. I said, "How are you, Dr. Chumley?" And he said, "How are you, Mr. Dowd?" I believe he said that at least once.
Okay.
Mr. Dowd?
Yes. He then sat down in the booth with us. I was seated on the outside, and Harvey was seated on the inside.
Harvey?
Yes. I did introduce him to Harvey.
To who?
A white rabbit, 6 feet tall.
6 feet?
6 feet 1.5 inches.
All right, let him fool around. The doctor's probably someplace bleeding to death in a ditch.
Well, if those were his plans for the evening, he did not tell me.
Go on, Dowd. Where was he seated?
Well, he was seated across from Harvey, where he could look at him. And then Harvey suggested that I buy him a drink. Knowing that he does not like to drink alone, I suggested to the doctor that we join him.
And so?
Well, so we joined him.
Go on.
Well, we joined him again.
Then what?
Well, we kept right on joining him.
Don't skip all the joining!
Well, you're asking me to leave out a good portion of the evening.
Tell us what happened. Come on, please.
Well, the doctor and Harvey got into conversation quietly at first. But then it became rather heated as the evening went on and the doctor raised his voice.
Yeah? Why?
Well, Harvey seemed to think that the doctor should take on some of the financial responsibility for all the joining, but the doctor didn't seem to want to do that.
I can believe that part of it.
Let him talk. See how far he'll go. This guy's got guts.
Well, I agreed to take the whole thing because I did not want any trouble. We go down there quite frequently, Harvey and I, and the proprietor is a very interesting gentleman with a decent outlook on life. And then the other thing came up.
Cut the damn double talk and get on with it!
Mr. Wilson, you are a very sincere type person, but I must insist that you not use that language in front of Miss Kelly.
Mr. Dowd, you are absolutely right, and we are sorry. Mr. Dowd, you say the other thing came up?
Yes, seated across from us in a booth was a beautiful blonde woman, Mrs. Smethills, and her escort. The doctor went over to sit next to her and talk to her, telling her that they had once met in Chicago. Her escort then escorted Dr. Chumley back to us, explaining that he should mind his own affairs. Does he have any?
Does he have any what?
Well, does he have any affairs?
How should I know?
Please hurry, Mr. Dowd. We're all so worried.
Well, Dr. Chumley then urged Harvey to go over to Blondie's Chicken Inn, but Harvey wanted to go over to Eddie's instead. And while they were arguing about it, I went up to the bar to order another drink, and when I came back, they were gone.
Where did they go? I mean, where did the doctor go?
I don't know. I had a date out here with the doctor and Mrs. Kelly, and I figured later on we'd meet up with Harvey and the doctor and make a party of it.
So, you satisfied? You got a story. Okay, you're lying and we know it.
I never lie, Mr. Wilson.
You've done something with the doctor and I'm finding out what it is.
Okay, no, don't touch him, Lucy.
Maybe he isn't lying, Wilson.
That's all this guy is. A bunch of lies. You two don't believe the story he tells about the doctor sitting there talking with this big white rabbit, do ya?
But maybe Dr. Chumley did go to Charlie's place.
And saw a big rabbit, I suppose.
And why not? Harvey was there. At first, the doctor seemed rather frightened of Harvey, but that gave way to admiration as the evening wore on. The evening wore on. That's a nice expression. With your permission, I'll say it again. The evening wore on.
With your permission, I'm gonna knock your teeth down your throat!
Mr. Wilson, don't you have some old friends you can go and play with?
The nerve of this guy! He couldn't come out with an ordinary case of BTs. Oh no. He had to come out with the story of a 6-foot rabbit!
Well, as stimulating as all this is, I really must be getting downtown.
Oh, Charlie's place? Is Dr. Chumley anywhere around there? He came in with Mr. Dowd earlier in the evening. What? Well, don't bite my head off! Oh my, that man was mad. He said that Mr. Dowd was welcome any time, but his friend was not.
Well, that'd be Mr. McNulty, the bartender. He thinks a lot of me. Now let's go on down and have a drink.
Wait a minute!
Mr. Dowd!
Yes, my dear. May I hold your hand?
Yes, if you want to. Mr. Dowd, poor Mrs. Chumley is so worried. Something must have happened to the doctor. Won't you please try and remember something else that might help, please?
Well, for you, my dear, I would do anything. I would almost live my life over again. Almost. I've told it all.
You're sure?
Quite sure, but ask me again, won't you? I love that warm tone you had in your voice.
So did I.
Oh, nuts!
What?
Nuts!
I really must be getting out of town. I have things to do.
Mr. Dowd. Mr. Dowd. What is it you do?
Well, Harvey and I, we go sit at the bars, have a few drinks, listen to the jukebox. Pretty soon, all the faces of the people in the room smile and look towards me. They're saying, "We don't know you, mister, but you're a real nice fellow." Harvey and I warm ourselves in these golden moments. We arrive as strangers, soon we have friends. They sit with us, they drink with us, they talk with us. They tell us about all the big, terrible things they've done in their lives, and all the big, wonderful things they will do. Their hopes, their regrets, their loves, their hates. All very large because no one ever brings anything small into a bar. I then introduce them to Harvey, and he is bigger and grander than anything they can offer me. And when they leave impressed. The same people seldom return, but that's envy, my dear. There's a little bit of envy in the best of us, and that's too bad, isn't it?
Mr. Dowd, how did you happen to call him Harvey?
Well, because Harvey's his name.
But how do you know that?
Well, that's a very interesting coincidence, Doctor. One night, several years ago, I was walking down Fairfax Street early in the evening between 18th and 19th. You know the block?
Yes, yes.
Well, I just helped Ed Hickey into a cab. He'd been mixing his rye and his gin, and I felt he needed a little conveying. Anyway, as I walked down the street, I heard this voice saying, "Good evening, Mr. Dowd." And I looked over, and there was this great white rabbit leaning against a lamppost. Well, I thought nothing of that, because when you've lived in a town as long as I've lived in this one, you get used to the fact that everybody knows your name. Naturally, I went over to speak to him, and he said to me, "Well, Ed Hickey's a little spiffed tonight, or am I mistaken?" Well, he was not mistaken. I think the world and all of Ed, but boy, he was spiffed. Anyway, we talked like that for a little while, and pretty soon I said, "You know, you have the advantage on me. You know my name, but I don't know yours." Right back at me, he says, "What name do you like?" Well, I didn't have to think a minute. Harvey's always been my favorite name. So I said, "Harvey." And now this is the really interesting part. He said to me, he says, "What a coincidence. My name happens to be Harvey."
Mr. Dowd, what was your father's name?
Frederick Orville.
Now, Mr. Dowd, when you were a child, did you have a playmate growing up? Someone whom you spent many happy, carefree hours with?
Well, yes, Doctor. Didn't you?
What was his name?
Vanessa. Vanessa McElhenney. Did you ever know the McElhenneys, Doctor?
No.
Too bad. There are a lot of them, and they circulated around. Wonderful people.
Now, Mr. Dowd, think very carefully. Now, was there anyone, at any time, at any place, that you knew by the name of Harvey? Now, have you ever known anybody by that name?
No. No, Doctor. That's probably why I always held out such hope for it.
Right, Mr. Dowd. Wilson, it's time to take Mr. Dowd up to his room now.
I'm taking him nowhere. You've made this your show. Now run it. Letting him sit there forgetting all about Dr. Chumley. Okay, it's your show. You run it.
Let's go, Dowd. Let's go, Elwood.
Oh, certainly, Mylan. But I can't stay for very long. I promised Harvey I'd take him to the floor show.
Come on. Dr. Chumley, are you all right?
All right? Of course I'm all right. I'm being followed. Lock the door.
Who's following you?
None of your business. Wilson!
How did you get out of here, Doc? I just saw you go in there.
I went out through my window. Don't leave me, Wilson.
No, Doctor.
That Dowd man. Get him out of here.
Yes, Doctor.
No, don't leave me.
But you said
Dunphy on the phone.
yes, Doctor. Hello? Dunphy? Get that guy down his clothes and get him out of here right away.
Don't leave me.
Just a minute, Doctor! Judge Gaffney?
Chumley, we need to talk. This thing is serious.
Hi, Myrtle.
Hi.
More serious than you suspect. Where can we go to talk?
Not in there.
The doctor doesn't want you in his office right now.
No, sir.
Well then, have a seat, Dr. Chumley. Sit down, Mayor. Myrtle May.
Have a seat, Dr. Chumley. Sit down, Myrtle May. Don't leave me, Wilson. Don't leave.
Here are my notes, the facts. Is anyone paying any attention?
Yeah, we can all hear you. Is that good?
Dr. Chumley, has it ever occurred to you that there might possibly be something like this rabbit, Harvey?
Of course there isn't. And anyone who thinks so is crazy. Well, don't look at me like that. There's nothing funny about me. I'm like my father's side of the family. Well, they're all dead, but...
Well then, my client, the plaintiff, Mrs. Vita Louise Simmons, under oath swears that on the morning of November the 2nd, while standing in the kitchen of her home, she hears her name called and turns and sees this great white rabbit, Harvey. He's staring at her. She makes a remark and he leaves.
What did she say?
The remarks are not important. She was emphatic.
No, I need to know exactly what she said that got that creature to leave her sanatorium, her house.
I hate to have you tell him, Judge. It isn't a bit like Mother.
Quit stalling. Let's have it.
She stared at him directly in the eye and in the heat of anger said, "To hell with you."
To hell with you. He left.
Yes, he left, but that's besides the point. The point is it perjury or is this something we can cope with? I ask your opinion.
Ruthie, I've been looking everywhere for you now. I need to tell you something.
Dr. Sanderson, please disregard what I said to you this morning. I want you on my staff. You are a very astute young man.
Oh, Lyman, did you hear?
Oh, baby. Miss Kelly.
I'll see you later.
Doctor, you just got to keep Uncle Elwood locked up out here.
No, I want this sanatorium the way it was before that man came out here this afternoon.
I know what you mean.
You do?
Well, it certainly gets on anyone's nerves the way Uncle Elwood knows what's going to happen before it happens. This morning, for example, Uncle Elwood told me that Harvey told him that the McElhenney's Aunt Rose would drop in unexpectedly from Cleveland later tonight.
And did she?
Did she what?
Did Aunt Rose drop in just as Harvey said she would?
Oh, yes. Those things always happen the way Uncle Elwood says they will, but what of it? What do we care of the McElhenneys?
And you say this happens often?
Yes. And isn't it strange? Uncle Elwood says that Harvey tells him everything. Harvey knows everything. But how can he when there's no such thing as Harvey?
Fly specks. I've been living amongst fly specks while miracles have been leaning on lampposts down at 18th and Fairfax.
Oh, good. There's nothing but humans here.
Mother, you promised you wouldn't come out here.
Well, good evening to you, Myrtle May. I brought Elwood's bathrobe. And what are you all standing around here? I thought you'd be committing him by now.
Sit down there, girl.
Oh, I certainly will not.
How about you and me stepping out Saturday night, Myrtle May?
Myrtle May, you will sit over here. Sorry. Is it all settled?
It will be.
Doctor, might I give an opinion?
Yes, you may.
His opinion. Omar, he's the one with the eyes.
Doctor, it is my opinion that Elwood P. Dowd is suffering from third-degree hallucinations and that the other party is suffering from autosuggestion. Now it is my recommendation that he be treated with your Formula 977 and bed rest for...
You do?
I do. Now, Miss Simmons, Elwood will no longer see these hallucinations after his injection. Now, this has worked in hundreds of psychopathic cases.
Psychopath? Well, my brother is certainly not one of those. We've never had that in our family.
But Mother, if you didn't think he was psychopathic, why'd you try to have him committed?
What was I supposed to do? Put him in jail? Besides that, this is not Elwood's fault. Why did Harvey have to pick him? In a town full of people, why pick Elwood?
Stop putting your oar in, take your oar out. If this shock formula brings people back to reality, give it to him. That's where we want Elwood.
I'm not sure that it's going to work in a case such as this, Doctor.
But Doctor, it always has.
Harvey always follows Elwood home.
He does?
Yes. So, if we give him the formula and Elwood doesn't see Harvey, well, when Harvey comes to our door, Elwood won't answer. And then I'll take care of him.
Mother, won't you stop talking about Harvey as if there was such a thing?
Myrtle May, you have a lot to learn, and I hope you never learn it.
Shh! Here he is.
Good evening, everybody.
Oh, Elwood, I brought your bathrobe.
Thank you, Edith.
What are we going to do, Doctor? We've got to do something.
Oh, we certainly do.
I should say so.
Yes, it's imperative.
Well, while we're all making up our minds, why don't we go on down to Charlie's place and have a drink?
But no, Elwood, you're staying right here.
Yes, Uncle Elwood.
Just stay here, son.
Well, I want to leave. You want me to stay. An element of conflict in any conversation is a good thing. It means everyone is being heard and no one's being left out. I like that. By the way, Doc, how did you get along with Harvey?
We're waiting for your answer, Doctor.
What?
What is your decision?
I must speak to this man alone. Will you kindly all step into the other room? I will have my diagnosis momentarily.
Well, you need to hurry, Doctor.
I will.
Elwood, you stay right here.
Now, Mr. Dowd, why don't you sit down here? Is there anything I can get you? Would you like a whiskey? Now, anything else I could get you?
Well, what did you have in mind?
Now, Mr. Dowd, tell me about yourself. Where do you come from?
Well, didn't I give you one of my cards?
And where on this tired old planet did you find that creature?
Harvey, the puka?
Yes. Is it true that he has special functions?
That he gives advance notice? I'm happy to say that it is. Harvey's very versatile. Harvey can stop clocks.
What?
Well, you've heard the expression before that his face could stop a clock.
Yes. But why? To what end?
Well, Harvey says that he can look at your clock and stop it. And you can go as far as you like, with whomever you like, as long as you like. And when you return, not 1 minute will have ticked by.
So you actually mean that he can...
Well, Einstein has overcome time and space. But Harvey has overcome not only time and space, but any objections.
And he does this for you?
Well, he could and he would, but I've just never thought of any place I'd rather be. And I always have a wonderful time, whomever I'm with, wherever I am. I'm having a fine time with you right now, Doctor.
I know where I'd go.
Where?
I'd go to Akron.
Akron?
There's a cottage camp outside Akron in a grove of maple trees. Cool, green, beautiful.
Oh, my favorite tree.
I would go there with a pretty young woman, a strange woman, a quiet woman.
Under a tree.
I wouldn't even know her name. And I would be Mr. Brown.
But why wouldn't you want to know her name? You both might be acquainted with some of the same people.
And I'd send out for cold beer, and then I would talk. And I would say to her things that I've never said to anyone else. Things locked up in here. And then I'd send out for more cold beer.
No whiskey.
No No, beer is better.
Well, maybe under a tree, but the girl might like a highball.
I wouldn't even let her talk. And as I talked, she'd reach out with her soft brown hand and stroke my head and say, "Oh, you poor thing. You poor thing."
And how long would you like this to last, Doctor?
2 weeks.
Well, wouldn't that get monotonous? Just Akron, cold beer and poor thing for 2 weeks?
No, it wouldn't. It would be wonderful.
Well, I can't help but think you're making a mistake not letting the woman speak at all. She may get around and have some very interesting little news items. And I'm sure that you're making a mistake with all that beer and no whiskey, but it is your 2 weeks, Doctor.
Cold beer, Akron, and one last fling. Oh, God, man.
But would you like to lie down?
No. Now tell me, would he do this for me?
Well, he could, and he might. I've never heard him say a word against Akron. By the way, Doctor, where is Harvey?
Why? Don't you know?
Well, last time I saw him, he was with you.
Ah,
You know what? He's probably waiting for me at Charlie's right now.
that's it. He's probably down at Charlie's place.
Well, excuse me, Doctor.
Now, where are you going, Mr. Dowd?
Well, I couldn't leave without saying goodnight to my friend Dr. Sanderson.
Oh, Dr. Sanderson is not your friend. None of those people in there are your friends. I am your friend, Mr. Dowd.
Why, thank you, Doctor. And I'm your friend.
And that sister of yours, she is at the bottom of this conspiracy against you. She is trying to get me to lock you up. She got commitment papers written up against you this morning. She has your power of attorney. She has the key to your safe deposit box, and she brought you out here.
My sister did all that in one afternoon. My, that speed sure is a whirlwind.
Good God, man, where is your sense of righteous indignation?
Doctor. You know, my mother always used to say to me, she'd say, "In this world, Elwood," she always called me Elwood. She'd say, "In this world, Elwood, you must be either oh so smart or oh so pleasant." Well, for years I was smart. I recommend pleasant. You may quote me.
But just the same, it would protect you if I were to have to lock her up. Shall I do that for you?
No, Doctor. I think Vida would be much happier at home with me and Harvey and Myrtle May. Miss Kelly! A diviner grace has never brightened this enchanting face. Ovid's fifth elegy. My dear, you will never look lovelier.
I will never feel happier, Mr. Dowd. I know it.
Well,
Yes, Doctor.
I wonder if I can remember any more of that poem.
Say, maybe this Robert guy's a good one. Kelly never kissed me.
Well, Ovid always was my favorite poet.
Okay, pal, you're discharged. This way out.
Wilson, unhand that man.
What?
Apologize to Mr. Dowd.
Apologize? This guy with the rabbit.
Apologize.
I apologize. That is the door.
Well, if I leave, I'll know where it is.
Tell me, Mr. Dowd, would women often come up and kiss you like Miss Kelly just did?
Every once in a while.
Yes.
And I encourage it too.
To hell with decency. I've got to have that rabbit. Go ahead and knock.
Dr. Sampson, I couldn't leave without...
Just a moment, Dowd. Dr. Chumley, do you agree with my diagnosis?
Yes. Call them all in.
Right. Judge Gaffney, Mrs. Simmons, would you join us, please?
I find that I concur with Dr. Sanders.
Thank you, Doctor.
How wonderful, what a relief.
Good boy.
Well, let's celebrate. I've got some new bars in the back of this book right here.
Now, Mr. This injection carries with it a strong reaction. We need to get his permission. Will he give it?
Oh, he will if I ask.
Are you sure? And give up his rabbit?
Don't ask, just give it to him.
Well, Blondie's chicken in, the big bottom, the buck snort, Benny's driving. We'll go to Benny's driving. Vita, phone ahead and get a table. How many will be coming with us?
Elwood!
Mr. Dowd, I have this formula 977. It will be good for you. Will you take it?
Elwood, you won't be seeing this rabbit anymore.
But, Elwood, you will see your responsibilities and your duties.
Well, Doctor, I'm sure if you thought of it, it is a very fine thing. And if I happen to run into anyone who needs it, I'll be sure to recommend it. But for myself, I wouldn't care for it.
Do you see what I have to put up with, Doctor? Do you see what I have to put up with, Judge?
Vita, do you want me to take this?
Elwood, I've known you longer than anyone has. I care about you. But Harvey, he does not care about you. He wants to make a fool of you. Don't be a fool, Elwood.
Well, I won't.
Well, you could go out right now and sign up for the Waterboard Society. You could go over there.
Well, if that's what you want, Vita, Harvey and I will go down there and talk to them tomorrow.
Tomorrow? I don't want to live through another tomorrow if I have to share the house with that Harvey. Well, Myrtle May and I don't have friends that come over anymore. We have no social life. We have no life at all. We're miserable. I wish we were dead, but I think we don't care.
Well, I've always said that Vita should have everything that she wants. Vita, are you sure? All right, Doctor. I'll take it. Where do I go?
In Dr. Sanderson's office.
You will be sure to say goodbye to the old fellow for me, won't you?
Doctor, how long will this take?
Just a few minutes, Judge, if you wouldn't mind waiting.
We'll wait.
The doctor said it wouldn't be long. Mother, don't fidget. Oh, what do you expect me to do?
Oh, how stunning! Mother, could you see me in a house coat of this material?
Yes, dear, but let me have a good night's sleep first.
Come in. What do you want?
I'm looking for. Oh, there you are. Lady, you jumped out of the cab without paying me.
Oh, yes. How much will it be?
All the way out here from town, $2.75.
$2.75. Well, I seem to have forgotten my coin purse. Myrtle May, do you have $2.75 I could borrow?
I spent all the money Uncle Elwood gave me on my hairdo for the party.
Judge, do you have $2.75 I could pay this man?
Sorry, nothing but a check.
We don't take checks.
I know.
Oh, Dr. Chumley, do you have $2.75 I could borrow to pay the cab driver?
I don't have my wallet, and I don't have time now. I've got to get on with this injection. Sorry.
Yes. It'll be just a moment. I can borrow from my brother, but he's getting an injection right now.
You're gonna get my money from your brother and he's in there to get that stuff they shoot at here?
Yes, but it'll only be a moment.
Lady, I want my money now.
Well, I said it would be just a minute, and we want you to drive us back to town.
And I said I want my money now or I'm moving the cab back to town and you can wait out here for the bus. It's 6 in the morning.
Oh, of all the pig-headed, stubborn...
I should say so.
What's the matter with you?
Nothing $2.75 will fix. You heard me. Take it or leave it.
I have never heard anything so unreasonable in my life. Dr. Chumley, would you say now, Elwood, this cab driver won't wait?
Don't be long, Mr. Dowd.
Elwood, I seem to have forgotten my coin purse, and I need to pay the cab driver $2.75, but don't pay him a penny more. He's been very rude.
Good evening. Dowd is my name, Elwood P.
Lofgren's mine, EJ.
Pleased to meet you. This is my sister, Mrs. Vita Simmons, my charming little niece, Myrtle May Simmons, Judge Gaffney, and Dr. Chumley.
Hi.
Have you lived around here long, Mr. Lofgren?
Oh yeah, I lived around here my whole life.
And do you enjoy your work?
It's okay. I've been with the Apex Cabs for 15 years, and my brother Joe's been driving for Brown's Cab pretty near 12.
Well, that's very interesting. You work for Apex and your brother Joe for Brown. Well, that's very interesting, isn't it, Vita? Mr. Lothran, let me give you one of my cards.
Mr. Dowd, can we get on with this, please?
Yes, of course. One moment. I live here with my charming sister and little niece. Would you like to come over sometime and have dinner with us?
Oh, sure, I'd be glad to.
Well, when would you like to?
Well, I can't come any night but Tuesday. I'm on duty all the rest of the week.
All right. Well, you must come Tuesday night and have dinner with us. My sister will be delighted.
Elwood, don't you think this man has enough friends of his own?
Well, Vita, one cannot have too many friends.
Well, Dr. Chumley is waiting. You shouldn't leave him. It's very rude.
Yes, of course. Here you are. Keep the change. And we'll be expecting you with your brother on Tuesday night, and we'll be delighted to see you.
Sure.
Goodbye now.
Sweet guy.
Yes, certainly. And you just could have well waited.
Oh, no. Lady, I've been driving this route 15 years. I brought him out here to get that stuff and drove her home when they had it. It changes them.
Well, I hope so.
You ain't kidding. On the way out here, they sit back and relax. They talk to me. Sometimes we stop and watch the sunsets and look at the birds when the birds are flying. Sometimes we look at the birds when there ain't no birds and look at the sunsets when it's raining. I always have a swell time. And I always get a big tip. But afterwards, whoa, ho, ho.
Afterwards? Whoa, ho, ho, afterwards? What do you mean?
They crab. They yell at me to watch the lights, watch the brakes, watch the intersections. They scream at me to hurry. They got no faith in me or my buggy. Yet it's the same cab, the same driver, and we're going down the very same road. It's no fun. And no tips.
Oh, my brother always tips. He's very generous.
No, not after this he won't be. Listen, lady, after this, he'll be a perfectly normal human being. And you know what bastards they are. Glad I met you. Oh, wait.
Judge Gaffney, Myrtle May, we've got to stop this injection. Elwood, no.
You can't do that.
Oh, stop.
Giving him the injection.
Well, I don't like people like that. I don't want Elwood like that.
Mother, stop this!
Oh, you shut up! I've lived longer than you. I've known your father, I've known my father. Oh, Elwood! Elwood!
What's this? What's all this commotion?
What's the trouble, Doctor? She sounding off again?
She wants to stop the injection.
You haven't given it to him, have you yet?
Not yet, but take Mrs. Wilson out of here, Wilson.
Oh! You get your hands off me, you white sleeper!
You don't know what you want. You didn't want that rabbit either.
What's it to you if we want Harvey living in the house with Myrtle, May, Elwood, and I? You don't have to come over anyway. It's none of your business. Elwood! Elwood!
Oh, there, Vita. Vita's had a very tiring day. She's done a lot today.
Well, don't expect me to leave the club when I'm in the middle of a game, no matter how big the animal is.
I want to go home. I hate it here. I wish I'd never come.
Now, see here.
It's whatever Vita says, Doctor.
Oh, look at that. My coin purse. I could have paid the cab driver all along. Harvey. Let's get going, Myrtle May. Come on, Elwood. Hurry, Elwood.
Good night, Mr. Wilson. Good night, Dr. Chumley. You know, Doctor, for years I've known what my family thinks of Harvey, but I've often wondered what Harvey's family thinks of me. Oh, there you are! Dr. Chumley, could you move? You're standing in his way. Where have you been? I've been looking all over for you. What? Why, thank you, Harvey. I prefer you too.
we'd like to have our director, Miss Lynn Almost, come down here. They're quite fresh, too. Just pick them outside.
Thank you for ushering out a great show that we've enjoyed doing for you. I hope you liked it too. All right, shall we, everybody? One more time? Yes.